Shanti. A very good morning to all of you and a warm welcome once again to this session of your English class today. Children, let's take an interesting topic, astrology, to dive into. Many believe that heavenly bodies, including our planets, have an influential effect throughout the life of a human being. Astrology, the wisdom, astrology, the science about stars, is based on the observations of stars. But how much stars can influence us in our life, in our decisions, is a matter of belief in those things, is a matter of discussion also at the same time. But certain people are so prone to astrology that they believe their astrologers to be their guides, to be their experts, and they want that their pronouncements should be taken into consideration, should be taken seriously. Now you may say, ma'am, why today astrology? Actually, dear children, I want to take up a chapter from your textbook, Vistas. And the name of that chapter is The Tiger King by Ramaswamy Krishnamurti Kalki. Before the explanation of this chapter, let's know a little about the writer Ramaswamy Krishnamurti Kalki, who was an Indian Tamil writer. And he was a journalist, a poet, a great critic, and above all, an Indian independence activist. Here in this chapter, Kalki takes his readers to the days of autocratic and eccentric kings. These kings lived under the thumb rule of the Britishers. Hence, they feared them. In order to make the story interesting, he had added some supernatural elements also in the story. Actually, the story is a political satire to highlight how rich and powerful people misuse their positional power to fulfill their vested interests. The story highlights the callous attitude of human beings towards animals. The self-centeredness of the Maharaja mocks the very ethics of being a Maharaja. There are certain important things also to be known before the explanation. The first one is Stuka bomber. Stuka bomber was a weapon used in the Second World War, in the first phase of the Second World War by Nazi Germans. It was a dive bomber for dive attacks on the warships. The second word comes harakiri, Harakiri. Harakiri. Harakiri is a Japanese ritual suicidal practice to restore honor for themselves or for their family members. Japanese ritual suicidal practice. Actually, you can get all the information about harakiri from Wikipedia. The source is Wikipedia. You'll get everything properly. So it was a belly cutting process, an abdomen cutting process, just to restore the honor for themselves or for their family members. In the chapter, The Tiger King, the astrologers predicted that the crown prince Jang Bahadur, Jilani Jang Bahadur, was born in the hour of the bull. Since the bull and the tiger are core enemies, so the king would be certainly killed by a tiger was the prediction of the astrologers. When the prince grew and took over the charge in his hands, he overheard people talking about this prediction. That's all. He started killing the tigers mercilessly. The author has used in this story the device of irony also to highlight the satire on those rulers or those kings who were in power at that time, and they were only doing everything according to their discretion, their whims and fancies. So the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram also tries utmost best to falsify the prediction of the astrologer in this story. So you can see in the story what are the important things to be mentioned, to be known before we start reading the story.
Now listen to the story The Tiger King by Kalki. This is the story of Maharaja Jilani Jang Bahadur of Pratibandhapuram, who later on became famous as the Tiger King. According to the legend, when he was born, the astrologers predicted that one day he would die. A miracle occurred when the 10 days old prince responded by saying that everyone had to die one day. He wanted to know how he would die. After a stunned silence, the chief astrologer responded by saying that as the prince was born in the hour of the bull, and the tiger and the bull were enemies, the king would be killed by a tiger. When the prince attained the age of 20 and the reins of the kingdom were handed over to him, he started killing. He killed his first tiger and brought it to show to the chief astrologer. The astrologer told him that he could kill 99 tigers, but he would have to beware of the 100th tiger. Determined to prove the prophecy wrong, the king banned the killing of tigers in Pratibandhapuram. However, in the next 10 years, he himself killed 70 tigers. Once, a high-ranking British officer sent a request to the king asking if he could hunt a tiger, but the king refused. Then he asked if he could take a photograph standing over the carcass of a tiger the king had shot. He was refused permission again. The senior British officer was so furious that the king stood in danger of losing his kingdom. To pacify the officer, the king ordered 50 diamond rings from Calcutta for the wife of the British officer, thinking that she would keep one or two. But he was surprised when he got a note of thanks for all the rings. He paid 3 lakhs rupees for the rings, but managed to save his kingdom for that price. After some time, the king could not hunt tigers anymore in his own kingdom, as they had been depleted. Thus, he married a girl from a royal family whose father's realm housed a larger tiger population. In this way, he killed 99 tigers. Unfortunately, they could not find one more tiger. The Tiger King was depressed, but soon his gloom was dispelled by happy news about the existence of one more tiger. In his own state, a group of villagers thought a tiger was hidden near their hillside village as their ship began to disappear. The king was joyous and ordered that the entire village will be exempted from paying their taxes for 3 years. However, when the tiger did not appear and could not be found, he was so furious that he doubled the land tax. Finally, the Diwan got an old tiger from the People's Park in Madras. hid it in his home, and then, on the day before the hunt, left the tiger in the forest where the Maharaja would be hunting. The next day, the tiger ambled into the king's presence. Taking careful aim, the king shot the animal, not realizing that he had missed it. The old tiger fainted in shock when the bullet whizzed past him. The king left, joyously thinking he had killed his 100th tiger. When one of the hunters saw the tiger rolling his eyes in his confusion, he shot the beast but did not tell the king, as he did not want to lose his job. Now, the king turned his attention to matters he had previously ignored. His son's 3rd birthday was being celebrated and he wanted to gift him something special. He saw a badly carved wooden tiger, toy tiger, and decided that it was the perfect gift for his son, although it cost only 2 annas and a quarter. The shopkeeper knew he would be punished under the rules of the emergency for quoting such a low price. Therefore, he told the king the wooden tiger cost 300 rupees. The toy had been made by an unskilled carpenter and had tiny silvers of wood standing up like quills all over it. While playing with his son, one of the quills pierced the king's right hand, causing an infection which developed into a separating sore, a wound. He had to be operated on, but died during the surgery. Thus, the astrologer's prediction had come true, as the king had died because of the 100th tiger. This way, Destiny had ultimately taken her revenge for all the senseless killings by the Tiger King.
After going through the story, I hope you must agree with me that the genre of writing is satire and comedy is also there in the story. Comical elements are also there in the story. The style of writing is tongue-in-cheek, sarcasm, use of literal irony or dramatic irony. Subject of satirical attack is the Tiger King himself, through the character of the Tiger King himself. Actually, Kalki wants to attack on the bureaucratic system. He has attacked on the bureaucratic system through the story The Tiger King. Kalki makes fun of vanity and obsession of the rich and powerful people. So he has made a point to describe about the relationship that exists between the boss and his minions, which is not at all based on mutual understanding but only on fear. So the theme of the story is crime and punishment, divine retribution also. Harming nature will lead to serious consequences. Message of the story is that you can't harm nature continuously and then expect to go virtually free, even if you are a Maharaja. The Tiger King was aware of the fact that even if he was a Maharaja, he did not have a right of killing tigers, so he made use of certain statements of excuse, of self-defense to kill the 100th tiger. So important character in the story is Maharaja himself, the Tiger King himself, who is a prodigy who speaks at the age of 10 days only, a gentleman of highest order, who is obsessed with a long title like His Highness Jamidar General Khiledar Major Satyavyagrah Samahari Vishwabhuvan Samarat and Jilani Jang Bahadur. So he is vain and in fact self-obsessed about killing 100 tigers, even if it means abdicating his responsibilities towards the state. Obsessed with defeating his fate for the express reason. The reason is that he is afraid of that what the astrologers would be afterwards. What would be the might of the astrologers afterwards if the predictions come true?